I do believe the clock on the wall says it's time. What's up, Reefer Revolutionaries? It's 420 in California, and this is Reefer Revolution Live.
I think in terms of marijuana, and legalization, I think that should be a state issue, state by state.
I think in terms of marijuana as well.
I think it's up to the states, yeah. I'm a states person. I think it should be up to the states, absolutely.
You keep saying that.
You know, I know people that are very, very sick, and for whatever reason, the marijuana really helps them.
I know those people, too.
People don't smoke marijuana.
Well, revolutionaries, the good people at Medicinal Genomics held CannMed 2019 this week, and the Cannabis World Congress and Business Exposition was in town as well. What a week for weed in Los Angeles. Hey, and your friendly interpretive reporters got on the Pot Brothers at Law. How crazy is that? A full report. Dr. Barry joins the show, and maybe even Techno Biscuit, because they were all there, all those good people. They were all at Cannabis, CannMed, and all over the place. Oh my God, doctors, so many doctors. And
I'm all in. This is the time to go all in on cannabis.
We're all in as well.
I was driving through Nevada, which has legalized marijuana, and there are these big billboards down the roads in Nevada put up by large corporations which sell marijuana. They say, go to this place to buy hemp and get your marijuana. And I was thinking, here they are, corporations selling a product for which people are in jail today for doing exactly the same thing. And that's why we have to expunge the records of those people arrested for possession of marijuana.
Going down.
What's up, Reefer Revolutionaries? It is indeed 420 in California, and this is Reefer Revolution Live. I'm Dave Conan, and this is the show where we spark up, talk about marijuana in the mainstream media, the politics of pot and cannabis care, and of course, when I say we, I mean all the amazing folks jumping in the chat, but also my partner in all things life and cannabis and amazing executive producer of the show, Coach Chela.
Hey guys, thank you so much, Dave.
Coach Chela displaying in full display of the swag we got this week.
Not this.
This weekend, not that, no. But wow, what a week. I only got the ends of it. I got the beginning.
The bookends.
Yeah. I got the beginning and I got the tail end of this amazing week that Chela was out reporting on. Really, we're going to be redoing a full report today on CannMed 2019 and the Cannabis World Congress and Business Exposition, where we had a super surprise and exciting thing happen to us there. And really, it was it was a collision of corporate cannabis with medical cannabis, and in a kind of a good way. Certainly, well, we're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it. So welcome, everybody. Everybody's jumping in the chat. Please subscribe, get notifications. We have gone live a few times this week from CannMed 2019, where we met Dr. Barry and Dr. McKenzie.
Great.
It's so great. And Dr. Barry Gordon is going to be joining us for sure. He's confirmed he's going to come on at 5 o'clock. And we're going to talk about what we learned at CannMed 2019. And we're going to take a look at some video, some interesting information, new information coming out of that. And Dr. Barry has some breaking news out of Florida that maybe we'll get into a little bit. We talked about briefly when we met him at the pre-party for CannMed. It was really great to meet you guys, and it's great to meet any OG revolutionary and supporters of the show that we can. We met CJAPO and Holy Cannabis Oil last year at Emerald Cup, and so it's awesome. It's always great to meet folks that are watching the show every week, and we welcome all the new viewers. Chela, you say we got a bunch of new viewers in the chat today.
Yes, and longtime folks who haven't been with us live for a while, so that's really awesome to see you all.
So cool. I see Mad Goat is in there.
Yeah, back.
There is Dr. Barry. Dr. Barry,
KGB.
I must say it is Tangy time as well here at the Reefer Revolution studio, high atop Mount Washington in the hippie enclave, where not every hippie loves cannabis, which is strange. But
I don't know. I think your hippie card gets revoked if you don't love cannabis.
I would think that would be the case.
I
The dirty
think you
hippies.
become a sellout when
Dirty
you don't
hippie.
love cannabis anymore.
We're going to do a full afterburn today, guys, too. We didn't do the afterburn because we were burning with Dr. Barry and Techno Biscuit. And we are, Dr. Barry, just to let you know, we are burning on some Tangy as well. Now, I'm sure your Tangy was procured in there in Florida. And this was Tangy was given to us here by a friend over the age of 21.
You seem to have gotten it from not necessarily a compliant store.
Well, this
friend was visiting from out of town.
This is definitely not a properly labeled compliant California cannabis container.
There are very strict rules in California.
This is an old school.
Old school.
And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, it doesn't exist yet.
Medical collective style.
This is a medical collective pink. I've never seen a pink one, actually. They're usually black, but this is the old school delivery system.
Which is
but
awesome.
we are
and we thank and honor our friend.
Oh, we do.
For giving us some Tangy. We are not afraid of unregulated cannabis, really.
Apparently, no one else is.
Store.
No one else is really either, because it's alive and well in California. In fact, I think the majority of the market still remains in the traditional market, which is not unsurprising considering the taxation and Fazul testing. And speaking of Fazul, the vape reefer madness is exponentially exploding. What's going on?
Dean Bortel
Breaking
says,
news?
Dave,
Breaking
Lex
news.
asked me to remind you to check your text. She's painting and listening, but sent you something.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to you later, Dean.
Check my text.
Check
Okay,
your
I will check my text.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Bortel, folks, sending us that Alexis. I got to get my phone. Hang on.
Yeah, get your phone. Yeah, Dave, he does that to me too. Just saying. He does that to me too.
Do some talking.
Okay.
I'm going to find my phone.
You guys, I don't know if you follow us on Instagram, but I'm getting better and better at it. I'm posting more on Instagram, which is exciting. I still am not super awesome at it, but I'm learning, and that's really fun. So the Instagram is getting better and better.
Reefer Rev Show. Reefer Rev Show is
Yes.
the Instagram.
Reefer Rev Show on Instagram.
And also on Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter. My OG Twitter handle is at DC420LA, which still exists. What is it? So I'm checking my text here.
Also, we have some new folks. Hi, Jennifer Padermo. And we've got, KGB 1. Weed TV is another platform that shows cannabis content. Hi, Cobra442.
I got to figure out what's going on with Weed TV. I don't know why my signal's not going through to Weed TV. So I got to figure that out.
All right.
But we will. We'll get it back together.
I'm not worried.
So,
Hi, love.
I'm going to maybe try to read this.
Okay. We got.
If this is, let me make sure I can read this. I feel
your
I
glasses
feel
on.
like, well, it's like I don't really feel like, but it's like the guy on Fox News who was like reading the text from Bolton. Who had said, "I didn't quit. I didn't get fired. I quit." Because I'm talking to him right now. I'm being texted right now by Alexis Bortel. Okay, I'm going to read this first.
Alex Kennebosm says, I can't wait for the day weed comes in a plain brown paper bag. Me too. But like tomatoes.
It's far more better for the environment. And I'd take little tiny Ziploc bags every day, except for this plastic garbage and cardboard they're making us use all over the world for cannabis. Brown paper bags are great. That'd be my preferred way.
Hemp. I prefer them made of brown hemp bags. Won't that be fun?
That would be awesome.
Guys, the world is changing. This week was so extraordinary. It started with CannMed, and it ended with the Cannabis World Congress and Business Expo. You guys know us, most of you in the chat, most of you. Hi, Phil Britton.
Hey.
You guys know us. We're not such into the business side and the corporate takeover of this beautiful plant. But man, this Business Expo was awesome. It had something for everybody. There was a lot of medical stuff. There was a lot of, there were big, giant cannabis corporations there, and they were all trying to be like, oh, we're so cool, and we're doing this social equity thing and that social equity thing, and that's cool. They're Canadian, the Canadian ones. It was interesting to connect with them and see them on like a human level and like face to face and in the room. It's very weird.
Well, we're gonna
challenge a lot of my preconceived notions about stuff.
We're gonna talk about the both of these expos, amazing events that we went to, including CannMed 2019. But I do want to bring up this breaking news.
Please.
From Alexis Bortel.
Yes, I wanted you to read it first.
Yes, indeed. Now, this is a letter that Ms. Bortel has received from the House of Representatives of the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
Tennessee's in the afterburn today. Greetings, Ms. Bortel. I believe this is the committee, the chairman of the health committee, Brian Terry, MD, state representative, 48th District, Rutherford County. Greetings, Ms. Bortel. As the chairman of the House Health Committee of the General Assembly of Tennessee, I would like to formally invite you to come here.
Nice. How?
Formally invite you to come here before our committee to give an account of your experiences with medical cannabis. This letter dated September 13th, 2019. Breaking news, folks. The Health Committee needs to hear about your medical journey and the success that cannabis-based treatments have with your had with your seizures. Additionally, members need to understand the health of many Tennesseans is impacted by restrictive cannabis laws that also violate our citizens' constitutional rights. Unfortunately, we as a legislator have limited access to information on the valuable medicinal potential of medical cannabis. Your personal firsthand account as a patient that has benefited from the use of medical cannabis would serve greatly in conveying the need for such a program in my state. Please consider this an open invitation. I would be glad to arrange for you to speak before the House Health Committee during any of the committee meetings that would be held starting January 2020. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Representative Brian Terry, MD.
That's awesome.
Also the representative 48th in Tennessee.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. I'm so glad he's open-minded.
Now, Alexis is going to be answering this request.
Oh, good.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Ooh. Where, how? Via Twitter? What's going on?
And she says, you will like my reply, I think. My answer can't be shared yet, but I'm done with it. So she's prepared her response, and it will be shared tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Awesome. Follow
Alexis over on Twitter. I'm assuming it probably will go out over her social media, Alexis Bortel. And we'll bring up the actual Twitter links. But for sure, I will break the news when I hear it at DC420LA on Twitter, which is where I do break anything that doesn't happen live on our show. Always great to hear from Alexis and Dean and the Bortels in this struggle. Of course, Alexis Bortel, one of the co-plaintiffs in the federal cannabis lawsuit that is currently waiting for the DEA to respond to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals said, hey, we need a response. And I'm pretty sure they haven't responded yet. Breaking news there, folks. Alexis Bortel will be responding to the invitation of the representative from the state of Tennessee to come and talk about, because they don't have access to any of that information. Which is fascinating, because the University of Tennessee, and you'll see in the afterburn, and maybe Alexis, you can address this if you do go and testify before any of those committees. Perhaps you can address this ridiculous study that's being done at the University of Tennessee, which is, as 99% of all of the studies ever funded for cannabis, is to find the negative aspects of the plant, what it can possibly do. And interesting, and we've mentioned it before on the show, but we found out at CannMed this week that they gave so much THC orally to monkeys. It's really obscene how much THC they tried to kill monkeys with, and they never could kill them. It's remarkable. And they try to find what's wrong with the plant and how dangerous it is, or they try to find the dangers. And of course, they've never been able to find anything. The whole thing about the monkeys was trying to find brain damage, and that was part of it. Never been able to do it. But, they fund all kinds of junk science, everybody, in all areas. And a lot of it gets rebutted, but of course, it never really goes away if it's turned into propaganda. So the University of Tennessee is doing this cannabis use disorder study with young people through an app on their phone with the scientifically designed language. So that sounds like a real scientific study, but it just got major funding. So maybe you can address that issue, one of the issues, which I'm sure your personal story of your journey, and I'm sure the vaping crisis that killed 1,300 people. I'm sorry, wait,
what?
No, I'm sorry, 13. I'm sorry, my mistake. 1,300. That's how many people are going to die today from cigarette smoking.
Oh, really?
Yes. 13.
Is that the number?
That's the number from the CDC, Chela.
Really?
Yep.
A day?
A day.
Because 250 die from another poison.
Nope.
Every day.
That would be cannabis. That would be alcohol. That would be alcohol. Alcohol is actually number 4.
Oh.
Or number 3.
Wow.
Number 1 is tobacco.
Oh.
Number 2 is diet.
Wow.
And number 3 is alcohol. But number 1, folks, is 1,300 people die from the dreaded tobacco.
Wow.
And that from the fast facts from the CDC. So yes, 13 people dead, tragically, from probably honeycut. I'm betting on honeycut.
Honeycut? What's honeycut?
Honeycut is the... We reported, Leafly reported on it last week. He was in the Chronicle last week, and we reported on it briefly, or maybe I tweeted about it this week. Pretty sure it was in last week's
It's some
Chronicle.
sort of
it's
pesticide?
a dilutant. Actually, it's a thickener, which is what makes it appealing. What's that?
I'm sorry.
You're laughing at my description.
I pay attention to the chat.
I understand.
Also.
I'm glad somebody does.
Cannabis Sativa says, make possession limits on cheeseburgers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Great podcast this week, Cannabis Sativa. So sorry you have to leave Massachusetts. We have this coverage in the Afterburn about or choosing to leave Massachusetts after this vaping ban. But
well, he's telling me
good coverage
that
on it this week.
a flower is $400 an ounce.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The flower, this vaping crisis has. Don't worry. Hey, yay flower! Flower wins all the time, guys. Dry herb, vaporize your flower. But guess what? Now the price gouging on flower is happening. Gee, we're out of flour.
Those are traditional market prices.
And we're out of flour, and we're going to charge you, was it 85, 75 bucks an eighth? Is that what I think I remember Cannabis Sativa said is they're charging in Massachusetts now?
Right. Well, it's
after taxes.
Ounce, yeah.
And they are, hey, jingo, we got Australia in the burn too after. I'm watching the chat, and I'm seeing all the people jump in and they get distracted.
Dave. You got to press on. It's 4:39.
I know.
Tick.
But so this vaping crisis that is probably gonna they're blaming it on vitamin E oil is the top of the list. Except for on THC. Sorry, THC is on the top of the list. Yeah, THC is on the top of the list. Vitamin E oil is on the next, and then CBD is in there somewhere. And the flavors are on the list. That's what's being banned, I think. In a lot of the states, and I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, of course, government reactionaries or the Reefer Madness 3.0 is like, well, wait a minute. So honeycut is this dilutant thickener, this additive that showed up in the market at the end of last year, on the streets at the end of 2018. We reported it.
That out?
I have sources.
Okay. You read about it in Leafly.
No, actually, I actually have a source on this.
I got it.
And then Leafly reported on it last week. We reported on
Honeycut.
I know we get high during the show, but we did report on it.
I don't listen when you talk.
I know. This is true.
That's what happens when you're married for so long, guys. Just so you know.
Fantastic executive producer, I must say.
Oh, stop.
But Jacqueline from Twitch, welcome. We are multi-streaming, guys. Yeah, we are multi-streaming everywhere. This is YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, DLive. Share the stream. We want to grow our. This is a good show. Ask Phil Britton. He says it's the best cannabis news show on pirate radio in Colorado, broadcasting 200 watts in 2 square miles. But share the show because we talk about this stuff all the time, and we talk to Alexis Bortel, which I'm hopefully we'll have on the show very soon too. But back to what we were saying about how you don't listen to what I say. We talked about the this honeycut being introduced. Basically, I don't know what was the name of this at the time, but there is this additive from China. As what I heard, it was from China. Now, Leafly is reporting it's being manufactured in Los Angeles, in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, well, we can make anything.
Has its origins here in Los Angeles, and the formula quickly spread to many illicit underground markets. And
they're going to get busted in about 10 seconds.
Now that's the thing. What Leafly was reported is that the people who are selling all the dilutants and the flavors for the nicotine cartridges and the THC cartridges and all of the garbage cartridges that come from China are all on sale in this small section of downtown Los Angeles called the Toy District. And you can get all of your dilutants and you can get all of your carts there to fill up with whatever you want and send them off across the country where most of this stuff is going.
Oh, God. And 9 people have died.
13.
13.
No, the number is 13, not 1,300 like cigarettes, but it is 13. Huh? That's a day. Yeah, that's a day. Right. This is total. So, so that's ended up, and then all of a sudden these all started to come in. All of these this sickness started to show up as this dilutant. This new thing. Now, vitamin E is not great either. Either is MCT oil, either is PG, VG, or any of that stuff that the nicotine vapes have been using for years. Nobody knows what polyethylene glycol or any of those G's, glycose or glycerin things are doing really inside the lungs. You've got popcorn lung, which is a real deal that was around long before this situation, this crisis came up, and nobody was talking about it then. And that was being probably caused by PG, VG, or some other additive or flavoring in the nicotine vaping industry. And nobody was talking about it at all.
Because nobody cares about smokers, apparently. 1,300 die every day. And
that's
nobody
right.
gives a fuck.
And that's also
Sorry,
the regulators want to, are trying to, we're trying to get people off of smoking because 1,300 people a day are dying. So the nicotine suppression is good. So this is great. Well, guess what? Not only has vitamin E and these flavors and these MCT oil and all PGV, all this being added, the vaping companies have started using this super nicotine salts. And it's like 10 times the strength of nicotine. And they're using this in their carts. Now, brand new. This is all new within like the last year or 18 months. Geez, the same time frame that this vaping crisis has been happening too. And, it's been mixed as to where these, the reporting is hazy, if you will, as to where, what they've been using. Was there THC? Was there no THC? Everybody, all the prohibitionists want there to be THC in there, but wait a minute, let's stick the one up in Canada.
THC has never killed anybody.
That's right. 3,000 milligrams per kilogram for the monkeys.
Poor guys.
And they never died. So, yes, THC has never killed anybody, nor CBD. Now, CBD isolates and all that stuff, that's all new too. But this is a very specific, isolated, acute exposure to something that's not been in the market with previous to the last 18 months. That's where they need to be looking. Vitamin E has been around for a little while. And, PG, VG, that's all been around for a while too. And people have been vaping it, but they haven't seen this type of thing. Now, this is taking a chunk out of the industry, big chunk, third of the market is vaping, if not more, and so it's a large target to go after. And unfortunately, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I don't know. I know that the CIA is doing a lot of stuff right now, all over the place. Boy, they got their hands in everything. Caitlin Johnstone tweet this week was great. Look, it's the CIA under there. It's the CIA. It's the CIA. It's just the CIA brought crack into South Central. They did. They did.
That's true.
Exactly. Something like that. I mean, I'll get I have the slide of how much they used per kilogram on the monkeys.
I thought it was 9,000.
I'll bring it up. It's in one of my photos. I think it was during Dr. Sulak's presentation, and he was talking about how which was great. We'll have a little bit of it, but
amazing. You guys, if you no, we're gonna get.
We're
gonna
get that in a second.
Okay, yeah.
But I just want to finish this up. This is totally fake news. It is Reefer Madness 3.0. Should the Honeycut not be now? You can't get Honeycut downtown anymore. Nobody's selling it. Guess what? I wonder why. They're still selling the other stuff, but they're not selling Honeycut anymore. Everybody's terrified to sell this stuff.
Oh, good.
I'm betting you that this is where it's coming from.
The Honeycut.
Is the Honeycut.
Those
and
assholes.
I want to at least shout out to Leafly for including that in their reporting over this vaping. It was in last week's Chronicle. But this it's in the afterburn today, guys. It's just exploding. They're shutting down, companies are shutting their operations down. They're asking for documents from their suppliers. They want to know what's in there again, making sure, now they got to find out about this Honeycut stuff, because I'm betting that's what it is. Now, I don't know, something in Oregon allegedly is from a legal store, but I got to tell you something, guys. All of these companies are not, every company is, I can't say every company is not compliant, but I'm going to say a lot of these companies are not compliant in everything they do in whatever legal state they're in. They're not, they're following rules where they need to, but they're also cutting corners where they need to too. Or to, whether it's to get around exorbitant, because it is overregulated like plutonium. That's why I think there's something else going on here. I really think so. I'm telling you, it's just a conspiracy theory in me. But the CIA is all over the place, and they've done stuff like this before. So I don't know, whatever. But, is it important? Is it a serious thing? Yeah. And guess what's going to solve it? Ending prohibition. Yep. That's what's going to solve it.
And freeing the market.
Not banning medicine that Alexis Bortel actually needs to use. I don't think Colorado is attempting a ban on any type of vaping yet. But I'm pretty sure we've talked to that's one of the delivery methods that kids and autistic kids many use is through vaping.
Yeah.
Many patients.
Many patients, yeah.
And it's created a huge, now there's been worry, we've been worried about stuff, the cheap metals, the Chinese knockoff carts, and the real good vendors. We saw lots with the ceramic elements were all over the expo this week.
Those
but I don't know, there seemed to be a real sort of cloud, if not a good one, hanging over this expo. There are so many CBD companies that are popping up. It's just crazy. And it is even more unregulated than the cannabis industry, and those flavors and additives, none of that's regulated in the nicotine vaping.
It's just wrong.
Area. All that stuff. None of that's regulated. So, and now we've got super nicotine salts that they snuck in. Now they're all worried about, oh my God, there's THC is almost, sometimes it's 97% THC. That's what you gave the monkeys. You never killed them. You never killed them. 1% of their body weight. I know that's what it was. That's what I read in the literature, is they went up to 1% of the monkey's body weight of oral ingested THC. So do we know 100%? I mean, 1,000%. We don't, according to the scientists, we don't know anything about the endocannabinoid system. And also, I found out apparently Israel doesn't even teach the endocannabinoid system in their medical schools. They're just starting to do it.
What was
just
that about,
starting
dude?
to do it.
That is so weird. You guys,
my head exploded.
We all, oh, Israel, oh, they do all the best research. They do the research. They're the smartest. They're the coolest in the room. And yeah, as far as that goes, maybe they are the coolest in the room. But guess what? They don't teach the endocannabinoid system routinely in med school until recently. And even now, it's not like really widely popularized. It's so strange. It's so weird. I found the two things that I took from CannMed,
and we're going to get into. We should maybe talk about a little bit about it. Start talking a little bit about our experience. We'll show some pictures.
Oh yeah, it's 10 till.
And I think Dr. Barry Gordon's going to join us at 5.
We want to talk about Sulak's protocol.
You want to talk about that first?
Yes, because
Okay.
oh no,
Well, he's at sure.
it's in our
Photos.
no, it's in
No?
our newsletter, dude.
Oh, it is. That's
Yes.
true. All right. Well, let's talk about that.
Go to the
That's
newsletter.
Right.
I also want to talk about Sanjay Gupta a little bit.
All right. So let's do that. Let's knock those. Weed 5, guys. Weed 5 is up tonight.
I'm super stoked. I just want to say thank you, Sanjay Gupta. Thank you so much, Sanjay Gupta. I want Weed 6 to be on Alzheimer's disease, please, and neurological conditions. But it's because, as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bortels, but it's because you guys saw the Sanjay Gupta, the first Weed documentary, that inspired you to look for cannabis medicine for Alexis, if I recall. And I think that's fantastic. So I love that Sanjay Gupta is on this beat, as it were, and here's the next installation. If you haven't read this article or seen Weed 5, I highly recommend.
Well, I haven't seen it either. It plays tonight. So we're going to record it. It might be playing right now.
Awesome.
But he definitely, with his Weed series, has changed a lot of politicians' minds,
Yeah.
a lot of, informed a mass, talk about mass, media, mainstream media. He has informed, because he changed his mind. And I'm sure many doctors, because doctors only listen to doctors. We've talked to 3 of them recently, and that seems to be
It's the consensus.
The consensus.
I know this now for a fact.
And I think he changed a lot of doctors' minds. He changed a lot of patients, or informed a lot of patients of the availability. And get yourself to a state where they allow medical cannabis. And he's exposed a lot of negative, or tried to expose some rationale thinking, I guess, behind it. And he's going after. He's going to be talking about the CBD, talking about CBD tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see how they. I haven't really looked at any previews, so it's going to be interesting to see what the take is on this really wild, wild west, even more so than medical cannabis. So that's the topic of Weed 5 tonight is CBD. Where are we? Here's a hint. We are in the age of wisdom, but also an age of foolishness. So there you go. There's a hint as to the angle he's got for Weed 5, but we'll check it out. But if you want some good information about cannabis medicine, in addition to what the mainstream media provides, I'm trying to find that link.
Keep going. It's on the.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, it's there.
There he is. At CannMed 2019 was Dr. Sulak. Chela, tell us a little bit about Dr. Sulak.
Dr. Sulak is a board member of the Society of Cannabis Clinicians. Just want to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah.
He's an osteopath in Maine. And he started life, I heard him say, as an activist for cannabis, and became a doctor. And so he's still very much into plant medicine. He really believes that cannabis works best with education. He has healer.com, which is an excellent educational platform. I highly recommend it. I'm going to be taking his class starting next month. It's an online class. Anybody can take it. It starts anytime you want. But yeah, I really appreciate Dr. Sulak's advice. It really seems to resonate with me. Lifestyle changes are all really important. And he teaches a really cool technique of how to maximize cannabis' therapeutic effect by, he loves ultra microdosing and, really finding your minimum effective dose. Because guys, everybody knows cannabis is expensive. I mean, yes, some of us grow our own, and that's awesome.
Or try to.
Right, or try to. But cannabis is pricey. So if you can make it last longer, all the better, right? So check out his tips. And here, are you going to play that?
Oh, you want me to play this one video?
Yeah.
I can play this video.
How long is it?
We're talking about. I'm not sure. We can just play a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But it's because it looks like it's a series of videos or a number. There was another video that he put out on healer.com is where all of these amazing information is. He's got dosage plans and downloads and all kinds of things. I got to say, before I play the video, there were 2 sections going on at CannMed 2019. One was about the research and one was about the clinical practice on the ground and getting continuing education unit to doctors and nurses. And we were mostly...
Or anyone else who wants to take it and pay for it.
Or anybody, right?
Yeah.
And we were mostly, focusing on the research. And then we checked out Dr. Sulak and his presentation. And I got to say, they're 2 completely different worlds. And they sort of collided at one point in the research room when a clinician came up and asked one of the scientists that was looking for more research, said, well, you guys should know next door because we've got all the research next door. And it was true. I mean, the stuff that Dr. Sulak was talking about was really on the ground, real stuff, how to use this medicine within, as a plant. And the way we've got it right now and effectively. And healer.com is the site where you can get all of these videos. And there was another one he did called The Secret Breath this week, which I tried, and it works. It works.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, The Secret Breath.
And is that the one?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do the desensitization 6-day protocol? See, those are like 6 videos.
Yeah, he has a million videos. Anyway, let's not play them. We have to move on. But you guys should check them out, especially if you're interested in how cannabis can, really medically benefit you.
You can go to healer.com or you can go to at dc420la.com. In the Chronicle this week, there's a link to the sensitization 6-day protocol. And I guess that's to reset your receptors. I know there's a 48-hour protocol as well that he talks about. The Secret Breath video is there. Amazing stuff, amazing clinical work being done by doctors all over the country, from California to Maine, despite the American Medical Association and mainstream organizations and researchers who really are all about research and not really...
Yeah, we don't know everything that it can do.
That's
okay,
right.
but if you're going to wait till you know every single thing that it can do before people really get to use it, we're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and because even if you do, like for instance, the and we're going to start. Let's start talking about CannMed and what
I'm sorry, we should have. When are we going to talk about the Cannabis World Congress?
Oh well, let's do that then. And then we'll do CannMed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Barry will be with you soon.
So briefly, about the kick, we'll go backwards. Yeah. At the end of the week, ending yesterday, Chela spent 3 days. I won at the Cannabis World Congress. And I literally was there for just 1 day, and my mind was blown on a couple of levels, not the least of which is Chela got a pretty cool thing to happen. And I want to play that right now. How about if I just play that?
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because
this
you
is
guys
from
know
the Pop Brothers at Law.
You guys know that we play, Shut the F Up Friday every all the time when they put out a new one. We like to play the Pop Brothers at Law.
We're about to play it now.
And they're we might as well say it. But we're fans of the Shut the Fuck Up Friday. Yeah. And the information that when the police pull you over, you basically don't want to talk to them. You follow the script. Yeah. And Chela's always talking about, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that. I knew that. I really... And amazing executive producer that she is, she's like, I'm just going to go get on this show.
I'm just receiving, that's all. I'm just receiving.
So we were live on Cannabis Talk 101. From the Cannabis World Congress Conference and Business Expo with Pot Brothers at Law, Mark Wasserman, as well as the other hosts.
Joe and Blue
from Cannabis Talk 101. And we had a great segment. And we also got to do a Shut the Fuck Up Friday. So here's the behind the scenes of our Shut the Fuck Up Friday.
Yeah, it's the behind the scenes one.
Okay.
Martin Craig, Pop Rose Law, co-host of Cannabis Talks 101 with Blue and Joe Grande. We are here at the CWCBExpo, and we are here with Chela and Dave from Reefer Revolution Live, and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. We're going to review the script. I think someone else is going to have to help you out. Joe, what do you say when the cops first pull you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And then when they start asking questions?
I'm not discussing my day politely.
And what if they keep asking questions?
Still politely, I'm not discussing my day.
And they keep asking more questions?
Sorry, sir, am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I plead the fifth.
Close enough. And then,
Invoke the Fifth Amendment.
what do you do, Reefer Revolution Live? Shut the fuck up! There you have it. Shut the fuck up Friday, CWCBExpo.
Free the plant, free the people.
Nice. All right.
No music?
60 seconds.
Little fawning
Fun, right?
over Mark Wasserman.
It was fun. They didn't have to do that at all.
Not at all.
You know, there was 1 million people who wanted to sit in those seats, you guys.
Oh yeah. And you just said it. Hey, we want to do a shut the fuck up Friday, and we got it.
That way, and we sat with them for 15 minutes.
And that.
I'm pretty sure the Alzheimer's book helped. Just saying.
Oh yeah, Chela had her prop in full exposure.
Yeah,
there.
I had my research book with me,
And they even said, "Oh, we're going to need more than 15 minutes with you, so maybe they'll have us back on."
Yeah, it'd be great to come back on, like as we get some of our interviews posted.
Right.
That would be rad.
And we couldn't swear because it was radio. It's live radio. They do on that show.
And we were indoors, so we couldn't smoke at the
Right.
convention center.
Just a little tincture. But really big thank you and shout out to Joe Grande, Blue, and Mark Wasserman, Pot Brothers at Law, and make sure to check out. We'll drop a link in the description for their website, Cannabis.
Oh shit!
Oh, what's going on over there? Hey guys, come here. Come here. So that's hilarious. So breaking news, guys. We forgot our ease delivery was on the way. And I think they came down the stairs to our little cabin. Completely forgot that we had ordered our ease because we've been busy. We've been busy this week. It's been amazing at the Cannabis World Conference and Business Expo yesterday with the Pot Brothers at Law. And, it's really our first business expo that we've gone to. We tend to favor the medical expos. And you might be catching all of that on Chela unless she muted herself. But we don't tend to go to the business expos. We tend to focus on the medical ones. But they've been integrating more medical cannabis into the corporate cannabis. Right to
your door.
Providing taxes for Gavin Newsom to crack down camp raid style all across California, raiding just like the old school.
Super stoked that just happened. Which one do I put it in? I came all apart here.
Oh, you came all apart here. It's Mike. Here you go. Oh, yeah, Mike. It's Mike. I was wondering if you were muted during all that, or if you had.
No.
You just unplugged it.
It all fell apart. I stood up so fast. Sorry, guys.
It was hilarious.
So
as
that's
soon as
what
it
you get.
happened, and we're like, I even had my little ease delivery window over here just to keep track of it. Hey, honey, guess what? It was delivered at 5:03. Yes, indeed.
Right,
when you haven't made it to your guy.
live YouTube.
Hey, listen. Stranger things have happened live on YouTube, I'm sure.
But
there you go. We got our corporate cannabis delivered by. What did we get, babe? We should open it up.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. Might
We'll
as
have
well
to do an
an
unboxing
opening.
while we wait for.
Here we go.
As we're talking about CannMed now.
All right.
Of course, that was. Did you want to say anything more about the business expo?
Shit,
That you were there
so
for
much to say. Did you show all my pictures on the Instagram?
Oh, okay. You start talking about it, and I will start showing your pictures, and I'll open up the ease bag.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see the pictures while you talk.
I will
you know what I
bring
mean?
the pictures up. Toot sweet. And
Or
let's
I can
see.
look at it. I mean.
Well, I'm going to go because, okay, so I'll go back. Oh, this was, okay, so we're doing this. Here we go.
Wow. We
got high and forgot that our ease delivery was coming. So here is, this panel.
Thank you, Julie Love, for catching Vegan Metro up. Hi, Vegan Metro. Welcome.
It's been an uproarious first half hour.
Hour.
Might
as well, right?
Did Dr. Barry still in the chat? I sent him a link. I thought he got it.
Yeah, he said he got it.
Is he waiting? Wait a minute. Did I miss him? Is he waiting? Oh, he's waiting.
Hi.
It's like everything happened at 5 o'clock. Dr. Barry gets here.
Okay, cool. Let's just talk about the Cannabis World Congress real quick.
Okay, real quick. Chela's going to talk about the Cannabis World Congress, and then we were going to bring Dr. Barry in to talk about CannMed.
Yes, at length.
At length, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Cannabis World Congress.
I have your first Instagram.
Okay, there's a picture. I can see it. I was just looking for where it is.
Oops.
All right. Okay, cool. The first one was an excellent panel. So the lady in the middle, you guys.
What? You have to speak up.
No, I'm telling him a secret.
Oh.
The lady in the middle, she's the lady from Canopy. She is the chief advocacy officer.
Oh, now you screw. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's the chief advocacy officer, and which is a really interesting job. It's her job to make sure that they're doing all the good stuff. And she started as a bike messenger in Vancouver delivering weed, like you did. So it's interesting to see that you can go from that to this. She said some really interesting things about stuff.
Gives you a sense they might be into social justice.
Yeah, it does give you that sense. But they're a big, giant company, so how can you keep track of everything, really? Okay, so, listen, follow us at Reefer Rev Show on Instagram, and you'll be able to see all the details of all those things. So, next, did you show us on the show?
There we are on, oops, I'm not used to Instagram as well.
Okay,
there we are on Cannabis Talk 101.
Yeah, with Pop Brothers at Law. We talked to them for a long time. Go on. Next.
And then,
there's
Ngayo.
Yes, Ngayo is friends with my niece, Jay Siren, in Sacramento. And it's awesome when we run into each other. I send my niece these pictures right away, and she's like, "Oh my God, when worlds collide!"
Great comedian.
Then, when we went to the Cannabis World Congress, the lady who was moderating that first picture, she is an organizer and organized this amazing social equity breakfast the next day we went to. Go on.
That was quite remarkable, actually.
And you'll see more posts about that also when you follow us on Instagram or Facebook.
Entourage Effect.
Oh, this fellow is the CEO of Afria, and he was the CEO of Hain Foods, and they're all about plants, apparently. So we'll see. And his mom died with dementia, and his mother-in-law has Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, well, that's
so we might be connecting in the future further. So that's sort of exciting. Really. What's that? Oh, this is Laura from Cannabis. She was interviewing all the mucky mucks.
Oh, nice.
For a news outlet I should know the name of, but I don't.
Oh, I didn't realize she did news.
Yes, she's a researcher, and she knows lots of stuff. And then we ran into Maha. Maha Hawk started Canna Club at UCLA. So UCLA has a really no cannabis formal program for students. And so Canna Club,
none of the colleges do,
sort of fills that void.
Yeah.
USC is having way more classes than UCLA.
Oh, actual classes
but still
themselves?
Not enough. Still not enough. Maha is getting her secondary degree. I forget what it's called, but it's in pharmacy at the University of Maryland because they have that amazing program. But she's here most of the time. It's a remote thing. She has to meet there a couple times a year.
I did get to see that panel with her on
it was
academia
fantastic.
and
it was really
cannabis,
great.
which was great.
Yeah, it was really great. And then, this panel is California Cannabis Industry Association. And that fellow there next to the woman in the pink is Andrew Angelo. Andrew D'Angelo,
yeah.
Steve D'Angelo's brother. They started Harborside. They were very much involved in Prop 215 fight and normalizing cannabis as medicine, and all of the people on this panel are really badasses, so you'll hear more about that.
And trying to make corporate cannabis, nicer, better.
Compassionate.
Oh, that's the word.
They really get it. So next.
Oh, look at you doing another podcast.
Yeah, I did that the first day, early in the morning before it even opened. I was really feeling really anxious, just like, walking around by myself and in this big giant space. And I'm just like, this seems very comfortable and cozy. So I sat down with this fella and we had a nice little chat. Talked about Reefer Revolution Live. And
you worked on all your microphone skills this week, too.
I did. It
was awesome. It was pretty cool, the Cannabis Expo. It was gigantic. It was huge.
It was huge. I'm really glad it was here. I'm really glad that they were willing.
These expos are overwhelming.
They're really overwhelming. There's so much that goes on. And so I'll be posting through the week recaps of all the really great panels that I got to see and my reflections on how it was.
Well, we are going to start. We are going to start talking about. There we go. Oh, he's watching on the show right now, or maybe he's not. But he's going to be. We're going to bring him on here in a second. Dr. Barry Gordon joined us at CannMed, and he's watching our show on his phone, which is quite fascinating. And he's going to hear in about 2 seconds that we're watching him watch us on his phone. Because there's a 60-second delay. Actually, looks like he's about a minute behind. So it's going to be interesting to see when he catches up.
There we are. I'm not used to Instagram as well. Here we are on Cannabis Talk 101.
Yeah, with Pop.
So
can you mute him?
I did. I just muted him.
Okay, great.
Because he's going to.
Let's talk about CannMed a little bit.
Okay, we'll start talking about CannMed, and then he'll realize we're watching him.
So CannMed is in a very red room.
Yeah.
So CannMed is the premier medical conference that really gathers all the biggest and brightest minds. Why don't you bring up that Instagram for a sec?
The one from your Instagram.
My Instagram, yes. Meshulam.
Oh.
We met Dr. Raphael Meshulam,
we
got to shake hands and thank him for all of his contributions and all that good stuff. We didn't get to get an interview with him. We have some stolen interview that was somebody else's interview that we got a little footage on, but
we weren't really because you had already reached out to him and he answered your email.
He did.
So we weren't really expecting to get an interview.
He answers emails, which is amazing.
He was actually accurate in how tight they were being with his schedule. But we did get a chance to get a picture with him at the banquet afterwards. And actually, I'm going to play, when Dr. Barry joins us, or at some point, I'm going to play the video from that banquet that he talked about how they are now researching in Israel, the new research they are doing beyond this yeast-created CBD and acids, other CBDA and THCA and other acids, which we're going to talk to Dr. Barry about. Other than that, they are working on researching the endocannabinoid system's effect on personality. And they are theorizing that the endocannabinoid system, the ECS, may be part of why we are all different. Why each one of us are different because of I don't know what the theory is. Maybe Dr. Barry knows. Dr. Barry, are you there? Dr. B.
Uh-oh.
Wave at Dr. Barry. Unmute yourself and say hi. He should be hearing us.
All right, guys.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Don't
hi.
unmute yourself. We're good. Hey, there he is.
Hey. All right, hang on. Let me turn you guys off on my phone. What's up?
Did you see us watching you while watching us?
Listen, I assume that somebody's watching us pretty much all the time, guys.
You got that right. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I so wish that maybe I could have stayed out on the left coast for the next convention because it looks awesome. And I know Kristen Bury, who does the CME at those conferences. She invited me to go up to Boston. Which is their next one, I think, next week. But I can't make it. I can't be everywhere. But I'd love to be. I may make the Emerald Cup, though, guys.
Oh, that's pretty exciting.
That would be great. We love the Emerald Cup. I think that's, of all of the 7 ones I've ever been to, I think that's really the ideal. It combines everything.
My lovely wife and her friend Renee already have their Airbnb and tickets all set. I just haven't agreed to get out there yet, so I might. Meeting you guys, of course, and some of the other fantastic people from CannMed. I can't wait to discuss the experience with you guys because, as you know, it was quite an event.
It was, and I know that you were really interested in finding out what was going on with these acids and how are they producing them. It looks like it's basically a synthetic version of the acids for getting these new drugs into the pipeline for big pharma. Is that essentially what you think is going on here?
Yeah, you know, Dave, you were really perceptive when you said that there were two tracks going on, because I took the CME track, and to listen to Dustin Sulak and Bonnie Goldstein, you know, be my teachers. And, you know, I've met Dustin many times. He and I are in the Joe Redner Right to Grow Your Own Cannabis case here in the state of Florida, which is hung up at the Supreme Court level. One of my other common jokes, I'm going to have to buy a new suit, shirt, and tie to go to the Florida Supreme Court to testify for Joe Redner. If I go to the Supreme Court, I'll buy a new tie. But I knew Dustin. Bonnie, I had never had a chance to hear, talk, and teach before, but I had known her through Facebook forever. So, and of course, the chance to literally hear Dr. Mitchullam present and to get my selfie and shake his hand, and there were just so many bucket list moments there. But the point is, Dave, you were right. There was the CME track, which I was involved in. But in a lot of ways, I wanted to be on the other side, too, because that's where they were really presenting the research and what's going on in and I think I've been given credit for coining the term, the moleculars.
Right. Yeah.
So if we have the organic growers over on this side, the full entourage effect guys that, you know, we all respect with the flavonoids and the terpenes and really everything that's in the plant, which is what we all want. Pure product, lab tested, appropriately tested, so we know what the additional terpenes are and all that type of stuff. That's the one side of the coin that we need to fight to protect. But I'm so excited to see that what I've said for years as the second insult in the entire cannabis disaster. First insult being, of course, that we elected to go with the opioids as the primary pain management and the benzodiazepines as the primary anxiety management. These things kill. And, of course, alcohol, of course, as the social, recreational, quote unquote, drug that it is, you know, also kills. So those three things affect the mu receptors, they kill, but yet cannabis does not. So that's always been the first side of the insult. But the second side of the insult is the fact that we've lost the 80 years worth of research that we could have been doing on these cannabinoid compounds so that we could come up with better drugs, because, you know, tramadol is just a cogener of the opiates, right?
Yeah.
And dilaudid and fentanyl, right? So what is so exciting about what's going on in Israel is that they're actually taking the cannabinoids themselves and adding, because they're simple compounds. That was so interesting about hearing Dr. Mitchullam and the scientists talk, is that literally the rings, the two rings involved with cannabis and the side chains are easy, THC, CBD, the other cannabinoids, but now they're creating new molecules, right, based off those cannabinoids. And of course, quite frankly, it's a 20 to 30 year process as these are made into medicines.
Right,
but
exactly.
What should have been
14-year
being done
minimum
80 years ago.
Yeah, you know, it's like that was the thing. It's like, you know, no matter what happens, you know, it's like, oh, great, well, now we've got these stable synthetic cannabinoid acids that you can mix up together and however you want to do it therapeutically, or say you want to do it therapeutically and create a drug, get it into a pipeline, which is 14 years at a minimum to get through the process, billions maybe of dollars to do it. And then you come up with a product like Epidiolex, which is mostly alcohol and sucralose with a little bit of CBD in it.
Insane.
Well, that's why we can't lose what we have, Dave, which is the treatment with the full entourage product and the beautiful botany that's going on out there. And what I've always said is that let Big Pharma and now the moleculars, and I respect them, let them do what they do over there and learn what they learn. Then we can either create that combination of molecules that treat certain things, certain diseases. That's what doctors want. Remember, doctors want that. One substance treats one thing
disease
with a certain set of side effects.
Right.
They're confused by the pleiotropic nature of cannabis, but that's okay. Do what you do over there, and then let us know what you find out so that we can continue to augment that into our full entourage product and, of course, advance medical cannabis forward with utilizing the compounds that you're discovering. So it's very exciting, quite frankly, but we don't want to lose what we already have.
Yeah, then that's really, they're sort of going after that with this push to stop home grow, to eliminate in California, eliminating compassionate cannabis. The nonprofit model basically has been eliminated in California with any another one trying to revive it. Any attempt to get any compassion back in cannabis in California is stalled. It was vetoed. Bill last year by Governor Jerry Brown, and right now it's sitting on Governor Gavin Newsom's desk, passed again the Compassionate Cannabis Act, and he hasn't signed it. Meanwhile,
it doesn't look really great either. It's like he's really dragging his feet on it.
What I walked in the house to get you was the petition that
there it is.
Well, we don't want to out our address here.
No.
Pot, weed, marijuana, cannabis. This is the MILF, Make It Legal Florida petition. Now look what they've done. There are 2 ready to go and signed. All you got to do is sign it, and they've already pre-stamped it.
Right.
That's how badly they want this to pass. And MedMen and Certera, the 2 MMTC organizations in Florida, so far have put $550,000 each into the political till to finance that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, they want to control cannabis in Florida, and that's the one without home grow, of course, that preserves the vertical.
Right.
Pretty much in its infinite wisdom to that extent. So it's not supported by the advocates in the state in general, but it's probably the one that'll end up getting on the ballot. So, it's interesting. But
it's certainly
received while I was in Cali.
Yeah, that's there's a story in the Afterburn this week about literally every household getting this in their mailbox, and the ease. Imagine if other, that's pretty remarkable that that's actually a legal way to do it. I guess it is, right? You sign the card. It's like a voter registration thing or whatever, and you're automatically put on the petition, right? They just,
it's, Dave, it's just interesting. It just shows you how money talks.
Yeah. Because that ain't cheap.
Florida.
That ain't cheap either.
Florida and the Floridians for Freedom campaigns have been going on much longer. They just haven't had the funding. But, it's interesting because that's only 2 so far of the MMTCs or medical marijuana treatment centers here in Florida that have put their money behind that effort. And, it'll be interesting to see how many of them ultimately do. What bothers me about the campaign so far, and, we talked about this when I was out, in California, is that my goal is to make sure that we preserve the excellent medical program that we have here in Florida and continue to advance it, because Florida is a unique state with a lot of retirees, a lot of veterans, of course, a lot of people that do have debilitating conditions. And we know the unique nature of the ratio products of CBD and THC, maintaining your terpenes and your flavonoids, things of that nature. So we fight for that. No one's going to make a suppository, so to speak, unless, you make sure that those medical products are preserved.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty tricky way to. I guess it's pretty bioavailable in that form, but not everybody's.
If you have a cancer, Dave, below the umbilicus or the belly button, the best way to attack that cancer, be it a rectal cancer or prostate cancer, and once again, we all want more research on this, but is absolutely in a rectal, suppository way. Chela, interesting. You were talking about Dr. Sulak. Dr. Sulak, of course, is a big proponent of the microdosing. In fact, the ultra microdosing, and that's the big excitement about the acidic cannabinoids, of course. Dr. Sulak, and I think you heard him talk about his tea that he likes to recommend, taking a small bud of tea. And I think actually, as we had our breakfast the other morning together, but it's exciting that way. So
I started doing it. I'm doing it every morning since Dr. Sulak mentioned it. I love it.
Right. And you have to remember it's going to take a couple weeks, for that type of thing to catch up, because you're really looking for that anti-inflammatory and autoimmune effect. And when you're stripping off those acidic cannabinoids, the THCA and the CBDA and the others, you're not decarboxylating. So the thought is, and he taught, what did he call it? A concoction, I think. There's a steeping technique where you actually just take it to the point where you don't decarboxylate. It is all on his healer site. I got to give a good thumbs up to all of Dustin's stuff. He and the Society of Cannabis Clinicians, of course. It was so great to see all the activity that was going on.
It was really great. There was a big showing of Society of Cannabis Clinician folks. Not as many as last year, I don't think, but there was quite a few. I mean, I met Robin Lynn for the first time, and Dr. Janester Wilson-King, and Dr. Ingrid Liu from Chicago, right? Yeah, there was a strong Florida contingent, man. It was huge. I haven't even had a chance to follow up.
Listen, we need all the education that we can get in Florida. Listen, we have. So I need a little advice from you guys, and if there's any Floridians on the chat, I can't see it, but the AMPA, the American Medical Marijuana Physicians Association conference is coming up in Orlando this coming weekend. And on Saturday, I have a 45-minute block. And I'm honored to be speaking. Awesome. And Dr. Wilson King is speaking there as well.
Oh, far out.
And Michelle Weiner, who is a fantastic, she sits on the Nikki Fried's Medical Marijuana Advisory Committee with me, one of the 3 physicians on it. But anyway, I have 45 minutes to discuss how to run a successful medical cannabis practice. And I almost feel like, if you remember the old Saturday Night Live coffee talk, you pull up the because we got to talk. The doctors in Florida, as we get together, we need to discuss how we're going to discuss with MedMen, Certera, the general public, the other MMTCs, excuse me, about the importance of medical cannabis and the importance of continuing to lay down the bricks of appropriate practice while we go forward towards legal adult responsible use. We know it's not going to happen in Florida for at least 2 to 3 to 4 years, because even if it's voted on in November of 2020 and it passes, and it will, whatever it is, I believe.
Whatever it is. Oh, yeah, it'll pass.
Whatever it is. That's going to go to the State House then in January of 2021, and then it's going to be up to them to do rules of implementation. So we know what goes on in Florida. They're going to take their time. So to me, at least a year to me would be a miracle of implementation.
Interesting.
And then that's January of 2022. So between now and then, to think that there would be strict oversight of the physician practices, which there is, and I don't want to get into that on tonight's show, guys, because what we talked about when I was there, believe it or not, still hasn't become widespread knowledge. But if you think secret shoppers, that's something that has happened in Florida to the extent of evaluation of physicians' practices. But my point is, the doctors here in Florida are attempting to educate and advocate for our patients in really the most appropriate manner that we can while we operate in this world of heading towards legal adult responsible use, whenever that may be. But in a visitor state where people come down for 5 months for season from Canada, which is now legal adult responsible use, we have people coming from Ohio and Illinois and Maine and Michigan, where they have different qualifying conditions for their medical programs. So without reciprocity, it's interesting that the doctor is faced with a decision on whether or not he's going to advocate and educate that patient that is coming in with expectations on Florida's products, or if they're going to send them to the black market, quite frankly, for products that don't exist. And
Right.
we could head right into the vaping discussion, Dave, and your wrap up on that was spot on with the honey gold and the whole bit. And, you and I are reading the exact same things, and I think they're valid. But my point is, it's a safety issue now for physicians.
Right.
To teach appropriately about the safe administration of dry flower vaporization, the topicals, the tinctures, the other ways.
Well, you have this immediate overreach by the prohibitionists and they're banning dry herb vaporizers, which is ridiculous. They can't even point to it being THC or even nicotine. And all of a sudden they're like, well, no, it's got to be the cannabis. It's got to be the flower. It's got to be the plant. We got to get rid of all of it.
No. And speaking of, yes. I mean, just to get back a little bit to what was really the overarching theme of CannMed, the cannabis, and how we're going from the flower that we know has never hurt anybody to they revealed these molecules, right?
Sure,
And now they're saying, oh, well, maybe we can make an entourage out of each of these molecules. Well, who knows what that's going to do to people?
There's a disconnect there for sure.
Yeah.
There is, Chela, and as you administer cannabis in the age-old manner.
Yeah.
And my patients ask me about the safest way of administering cannabis. To me, I do tell them that, and it gets the prohibitionists very angry, okay, that their cigarette smoke causes all the disasters of lung cancer and COPD, whereas somehow cannabis smoke over here does not.
Yeah.
And we have the Tashkent study and some others, not good studies that are double-blinded in the United States, but we have 3,000 years of research on the smoking of cannabis, and I would say that we would know if it did cause lung cancer and or COPD, just like we know that nicotine and tobacco smoke does. Dave,
if they knew, they'd tell us.
By that super nicotine thing.
Yeah.
I heard that also, that there's the nicotine rush now that these teenagers are getting into when they blow out these large plumes of smoke.
Yeah.
That it's a stimulant effect and everything. It's so insidious what they'll let be legal in this country and infiltrate into the high school zone, and yet what they're so fearful of. Alexis Portel, God bless that young lady. In and of herself, she demonstrates that the appropriate use of full entourage product medical cannabis, including THC, is appropriate.
Yep.
In the appropriate circumstance. And that young lady's got a 33-year-old brain in that 13-year-old body. And I'm always so impressed when I see what she has going on and her and Dean and the whole bit. So,
Well, breaking news, guys. You set me up. You set me up for that.
Nice.
So we're gonna bring you breaking news. Here, I have received a text from Alexis.
Oh, my God.
Representative Terry has her answer. Sorry for the time. I'm going to go ahead and read this. It says, tweeting to Dr. Brian Terry, I would like to accept your invitation to come to Tennessee and testify about my experiences with medical cannabis. If cannabis is a states' rights issue, in quotes, then maybe Polis for Colorado and Bill Lee of Tennessee tags can say it's okay for me to travel with my cannabis. If not, maybe Donald Trump can help or maybe even come listen.
I love it.
That's,
oh my God! Come on, Donald Trump.
Fantastic. I'd love to fly up to Tennessee.
Ooh, Alexis, yes.
I'd love to fly up to Tennessee and participate in any way, shape that I can, and I could be, Alexis's personal doctor while she's up there. So.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, that's an excellent offer.
Guarantees safety, but I can't travel with the product either, of course.
Of course.
So these are all things that need to be solved.
Absolutely, and Tennessee isn't exactly the easiest place to procure, medicine.
Ooh, we're gonna,
as far as I know.
I'm sorry. Let's go back. We got to amplify that message tomorrow at 10 o'clock when Alexis releases it to the public.
Right.
Let everybody, all 36 of us watching now, let's all amplify Alexis's message and tweet the real Donald Trump. I've never done that before. I don't follow him, but you guys.
I'll be honest with you,
awesome.
Chela. I try to avoid it because I just don't want anything like coming back at me from like even following.
Okay, well, the 30. Oh, yeah, I don't do that.
I hear you.
I don't do that either. I don't do any Donald Trump anything, but I think we need to amplify Alexis's message, and I think that this could really help move the ball forward, and Alexis could travel.
Well, I'll be retweeting that tomorrow, and that is a great thing to do to get it. It'd be great to get it trending.
Yeah.
And you can follow Alexis at Alexis Bortell, Bortell on Twitter. And when that comes out tomorrow morning, it's breaking news, guys, exclusive to Reefer Revolution Live, previewing her response to go and testify before the committee, Health Committee of Tennessee, about how the federal laws are affecting her. And I think it's fascinating that it's Tennessee. When I read the letter, I was like, oh, wait, where is this from? I thought it was maybe the judiciary or something, or maybe it was the court. And then, it's the representative, a doctor, who's the chairman of the health subcommittee in Tennessee in the State House. So awesome. That's very exciting.
We know how significant that is, guys. Chela, you said it earlier, and that came out of me. Doctors listen to doctors.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you have doctor legislators, right, it's so important because our 2 doctor legislators in Florida, unfortunately, let us down in the last session. In the Appropriations Committee, they had a chance to add opioid use disorder to the Florida qualifying, or even opioid use disorder, and they didn't allow it. So, and they said that was because they were supposed to follow Republican leadership.
Right.
When you're a doctor, you lead. So I love the what's going on there, and I know Alexis can make an impact, and then he can make an impact with other doctors. So doctor legislators are so important.
Well, you are certainly one of the good doctors.
Hey, are you thinking of running?
Oh, hey,
No.
well,
Ever?
No,
really?
No. I have way too many skeletons in my closet, but they all have 5 leaves.
That's the thing. So I know. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, this is. Can you imagine being? I mean, there's openly. It may be the Dave of you never know. I mean, look at the world has changed politically.
It's time,
and it's with the number of people that support medical cannabis on top of in addition to adult use. I mean, might be the time for guys like us.
State, representative or
but a doctor.
I know.
I'll give you guys my feeling about it. When I go to work every day, and it'll be tomorrow morning, and I see my patients, I feel like I have the pink ears on every day. And we do our own little women's march in my clinic every single day. It's not necessarily against Donald Trump himself, but it's against big pharma lunacy, big business idiocy. Speaking right out to Alexis and Dean, the lack of freedom to utilize a plant, right, that grows out of the ground in a way that we can. So to me, the impact that I make with my patients on a day-to-day basis is what keeps me going. The ability to be on shows like yours and kind of spread the word a little bit more out on a national basis is something that I look forward to as the next couple of years go by. But I think my best role is as a clinician and is showing what we see every day. And I can't wait for your documentary to come out, Chela. I know. And I mean this seriously. And I have people that want to do documentaries on my practice and what I'm up to. And perhaps that'll come to be sometime. But, I'm going to take my best Lyndon Johnson on this one. If I'm drafted, I will not serve. So.
I hear you. I got you. And what did somebody say? Some other person said to me, "Well, you should run for office." And they said, "Well, no, I'd have to start lying."
Indeed. So every day I go to work, and we, like I said, we put our little pig ears on every day, and we try to do the right thing for our patients one by one and for society in general.
Well, you are in Venice, Florida at the Compassionate Cannabis Clinic. You are the chief medical officer. And I got to say, just in the brief conversation we had in the hallway at CannMed about your practice and how you operate and how you work integratively with different practitioners and I was just really impressed, and it's really an honor to have you on our show.
Yeah, it's great.
And to meet you in person.
Yeah, lovely hanging out.
Guys, I love this. This to me, and I'm pushing it all over Florida right now because I need this hour or a couple hours every Sunday evening to kind of recharge. And I love the Afterburn, and I'm going to sit back and watch it tonight while I watch Sanjay Gupta's Weed 5 also.
There you go,
watch that could be a big CBD based.
It's going to, whatever it is, whatever comes out of Weed 5 is going to impact politicians, doctors, and patients on the ground. Absolutely.
No
I have no doubt that what comes out of Weed 5 is definitely going to make an impact, and people are going to be talking about it. And we're going to be talking about it next week. And Dr. Gordon, thank you so much for giving us a breakdown of a wrap-up of CannMed and the science of the molecule. And it's really, it looks like it's big pharma, making its way. But there's room for everybody. If they just let us grow our medicine in our backyard and enjoy the fruits of our labor, our keen, as the Aussies say, a keen gardener. If you're a keen gardener, you should be able to grow your plant. There you go. So we're going to get into the Afterburn. Actually, Dr.
This is
Berry,
a human rights issue.
This
is a patient's rights issue. This is a freedom issue. Liberty.
It's a green issue.
It's about liberty.
It's not blue. It's not red. It's a green. It's a green issue.
Yeah,
that's right.
Got it.
Yep.
Thanks again,
All right,
Dr.
guys.
Berry.
By the way, I had Congressman Greg Steube, who is huge for veterans and cannabis rights in Washington. My congressman, his chief aide in this past week. Hopefully he'll be in the next couple of weeks when he comes back for his vacation. So we try to make impact with kind of the doctors, the politicians, all of them. So we'll keep fighting.
Well,
awesome.
we'd love, we want to start doing more panels and checking in with you. There's so much going on in Florida. We want to know about how they're going after possibly cannabis doctors. And we want to know how, responsible use, adult use is going to proceed in
let's see if
Florida.
we can start with Holly Bell in a couple, 3 weeks, guys. She's the Florida commission director of cannabis.
Awesome.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
She's got the whole hemp thing going on. And I think if I set it up right for her, she'll be pleased to come on for 15, 20 minutes and give you guys an update on what's going on in Florida. I'll reach out.
Okay,
Fantastic.
cool. We won't smoke when she's on.
Yeah, we won't. We do.
Yeah, we're gonna, yeah. We'll keep it highbrow. All
All
right, guys.
follow
be well.
Dr. Berry over at Venice Care on
Yep.
Twitter, the Compassionate Cannabis Clinic. Thanks, Dr. B. We'll see
And
you
Alexis
soon.
Bortel, thank you so much for the breaking news.
Absolutely.
We're very excited. Everybody retweet what Alexis releases tomorrow at 10 that you guys just heard. And we'll see you in the Afterburn.
And she'll be in Tennessee, and we will be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching it. What's that?
Sorry, California doctors.
Yes.
Next Saturday, there is a great CME program called Train the Trainers. We'll put it in the description. And we are shooting that conference for the Society of Cannabis Clinicians and the Relief Institute. Dr. Sherry Yafai is organizing that, and it's going to be very good also. So,
Yes, it's more cannabis conferences abound in Southern California, and we're gonna be part of a really good one from all of those Society of Cannabis Clinicians that were really like they were the first ones in, waiting for Dr. Mushalom. They're like, give us the information, the information, and so glad that Dr. Sulak was able to express and educate so many doctors on cannabis.
And Dr. Goldstein.
I
love that they talked about food and how cannabis works best with diet and education, with lifestyle changes. So, guys, we love you. We're going to move into the Afterburn.
We are. Make sure to hit that thumbs up before we go off, guys. Subscribe, get notifications. We will be right back. I think you probably need to refresh. Otherwise, you can join back in the chat. But the Afterburn is coming up, where we hotbox the mainstream media in the MS420 theater. So join us in 2 minutes for the Afterburn. Free the plant, free the people. Bot for peace. See you in a couple minutes, guys. Thanks, Dr. B.
Thank you, Alexis.
Thanks, Alexis. Oh my God, breaking news. We'll have to break it again in the Afterburn.
Yeah.
Alexis wants to go to Tennessee.
Play the music.
I don't want to play our theme music. That's the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, what do you
Thumbs
do?
up,
Just
everybody.
say goodbye.
We're out.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.